Very good evening to all my friends here. And today we are meeting at this particular extra session of our problem solving sessions, which we are doing it for the understanding incubation and entrepreneurship course. And we have completed our 12 week of duration, and probably this time we are having just one extra course, which is basically, it's not an extra course, it's basically an extra session which we are trying to do. And this is primarily a 1 hour session wherein we are just trying to have a look, what's happening, what we have covered through, some, suggestions for, how, to prepare, how to go about, your final examination, which is going to be held on the 28th of October, which is probably next week. And so the idea is to get a flavor of, what we have gone through, how to prepare, what are the things which we need to take care about, and and that's where we will be doing this particular session today. Now, let me share my screen, and we'll be going about this particular extra session of our NPTEL lecture series. As I mentioned that we have already covered quite a good amount of content. The content comprised of lectures and sessions from the experts, and even having a weekly assignments. So there were in all 12 assignments which we were doing, and which has already been done. And I think the last date for the 12th week assignment is already up. So if you've not finished it, it's always good that you try to finish it as quickly as possible. The aim of this particular session is around to give you a prime of what to take care when you are going for your examinations. And as our protocol has been that we also cover a certain set of questions. So we have 10 set of questions which we'll be covering today, and these will be basically from each week. So the idea is that to prepare yourself, and understand that question can come from in any form, in any flavor. All right. So I'll be sharing my screen and we'll be proceeding with the session. So please let me know if you are able to see my screen. We have a learner Bhavna. Can you please tell me if you are able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. But yes, yes.
Great, great, great. So once again, I welcome all of you, all the participants who have been enrolled in this particular course and who has gone through our journey of 12 weeks to this particular extra session which we have specially scheduled just before your final examination. Uh, my name is Abhishek. I am basically the TA for this particular course, and the course instructor is Professor VK Chakravarti sir, who is primarily from IDC School of Design, IT Bombay. Like we have been saying, like we have been saying, I mean, the basic protocol that every session gets recorded, and it gets uploaded on YouTube, and hence we request everybody to stay on mute, and so that we avoid any kind of noise disturbances. Once we are done with this session, also we'll be we are anyways recording it, and we'll be uh, so we'll be uploading this on YouTube as well. As we have been saying, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, you can speak, and you can ask your question. And the best way of asking a question is discussion forum, and you basically use it using this functionality of ask a question, and it's a feature which has been provided by the NPTEL platform, and I think it's a great feature because all of us can actually see those questions. We can gain our understanding from these questions, and even if somebody has not asked that question, but the question is there in their mind, I think it's a great way of addressing that question. Okay, so it is being viewed by the NPTEL team as well as including me. So if there is a question which pertains to my area, probably content related or evaluation related, I'll be able to address those questions, and we'll be posting it on the group. So, like we have been telling all of you, all these sessions are being made available on YouTube. We upload it on YouTube. All of these sessions are there presently. We'll soon be uploading the extra session as well. So even this session will be uploaded. Okay. And all this presentation deck is being uploaded in the form of a PDF. So there is a PDF file which gets uploaded. And it includes basically all the annotations, whatever we are scribbling, we are writing, all these things are being recorded and it gets uploaded in our PDF form. Okay. How do you access these? I mean, you don't need to specifically keep a note of this link, because there is something called as problem solving session. So even if you are reviewing it, I think it's a great way of going through our YouTube sessions. When you go here, you will land on an Excel sheet, and in that Excel sheet you'll be basically getting week wise YouTube content along with your PDF, annotated PDFs. Okay. So everything you'll get in problem solving section. Okay. Going forward, I think by now everybody is right, very clear about the course name. It's Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. The course has been taken by Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir, who is professor at IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay, and he's doing great work at the Design Innovation Center as well there. The course was of 12 weeks duration, and the final examination is 28th of October, which is scheduled on Saturday. So be prepared, be ready. You'll be either attempting it in the first half or the second half. This will be based on your preference. So whatever preference you have made, according to it, you'll be given a time slot, and you will be, going there physically and attempting those questions. So I'll be telling more about the format of examination in this presentation itself. Okay. Like we'll be telling, I mean the course was free to learn, and but if you wanted a certificate, I mean you will have to register and you will have to appear for examination. All right. So in order to gain a certificate, you will have to be present for the examination. And for registration, I mean that was an exam fee basically, which was 1,000 rupees. Okay. Now, again, since we are approaching towards our final examination, so a clarity on, in what circumstances you get a certificate is very, very important. I've been explaining it, every session, and we'll be doing it once again today. So, so there is something called as internal, external, and overall. So internal basically means your weekly assignments. Okay. Weekly assignments wherein we have gone through 12 weekly assignments, and we'll be taking the best 8. All right. And those will be evaluated out of 25%. So the weightage which is given for internals is 25%. Now coming to the external, which is your final physical form of examination, it will be evaluated out of 100 marks, and the weightage given is 75%. Okay. So obviously it's a physical examination, you'll be going there. So that is why the weightage given is 75%. Now, when we will sum it up, it will lead to our overall examination. Okay. Now, this pertains to the weightage which is given to the examination. There is also a clause which says that, in the internals, let me just change the color. Okay. So out of 25, you need to score at least or more than 10 marks. Okay. Similarly, for external, you need to have more than or equal to 30, which means essentially you for overall you need to have 40 marks out of 100. Okay. So individually you need to meet the criteria for internal and external, and then obviously overall you will meet the criteria. So if one of the cases are not met, then you won't be getting a certificate. Okay. So to gain a certificate, you will have to capture the internal, external, and the total marks. Okay. I think now this is quite clear for everybody. Now they understand this whole division of marks. Okay. So will we quickly go through? I mean, this is how we have progressed. Past few days I've been talking about, how we have progressed from week one to week four to, we started with the very basics about, why startups fail and what are the mistakes by startups, and then eventually going on to certain case studies of, the startups and, who are sharing their journey, what should be the methodology of innovation, how should you progress, with the and then certain case studies of how a student project was taken forward, and we formed a startup out of it. And then came different segments. We talked about healthcare and innovation, we talked about human centered innovation, and then humanizing technology, and finally leading to business model canvas and the lean model canvas. So you can see the transition which is happening, right? And then finally, the last leg of content was about the incubation facilities. We started with the facilities at IIT Hyderabad, and then there were certain more experts who were talking about their shift from corporate to entrepreneurship. And then the last 2 weeks, if you say week 11 and week 12, we were primarily about the startup presentations, startup project presentation by IIT Hyderabad MD students. Okay, so they were working in certain groups and they had identified certain areas and they were basically pitching their ideas to a expert panel. Okay. Now, as we've gone through, I mean, there has been certain typology of questions. This is the radio button question in which only one answer is correct, and here you have more than one answers which are correct. Okay. So, I might have masala, I might have ginger, I might have sugar, but here, I will have just one of them. Okay. So this one selections. Apart from that, if you see, there were certain more typology of questions which were either, fill in the blanks kind of a section wherein, a statement was given and then you have to fill those blanks out of certain given options. Okay. So there are certain few more typology when we are talking about the multiple choice questions. Okay. Now, recently, I think just a couple of days back, I got a query wherein, one of the learners said that, their marking has not been done correctly. And, I've been talking about the marking evaluation scheme in each and every session. But I think that still there are certain queries and doubts. So what I'll do is I'll just, very quickly, I'll, talk about this once again with an example. The question is, so we'll take just dummy question who's captain of Indian cricket. So, but this will be just one question. Who are the? I think we should write who are the players of Indian cricket team participating in the ICC World Cup. Okay, so if this is the question and your options are Right? So if these are your options, who are the players of Indian cricket team participating in the ICC World Cup 2023? Let's complete that. Okay. Now let us see the scenarios which are here. Okay. Let us take a different color. Let's take the scenario one, the scenario two, and then scenario three. Okay. Now scenario one says, if you read it out, it says, if all options chosen by the student are correct, then no correct answer is then full. So, for example, here the correct answers are Kuldeep Yadav and Virat Kohli. Okay. Now, if I'm attempting this question, I select B and I select C and I submit. So here I'll get 3 marks. Okay. Now let's talk about scenario two. Scenario two says that if at least one incorrect answer has been chosen, then no marks. Okay. What I do is that I probably feel that okay, the correct answers are A, B, and C, but I've chosen A. But Rahul Dravid is not in the playing 11. He is basically the coach. So this is the incorrect response. But I've chosen the two correct responses. However, because I've chosen one incorrect, there will not be any marks which will be allotted to me. However, if I see scenario three, I thought that okay, I'm not very sure about the answers. I select only C and I submit it. C is one of the correct responses, but I have not chosen B. B is not being chosen. So here I'll be getting partial marks. All right. So even if you are attempting this in your final examination, so just if you have a doubt, then probably go with the safe one, because if you choose an incorrect one, no marks will get up. Okay, so that is very very critical in terms of how you go about attempting the question and how you go about planning how to select the options. Now this is something which is new, probably and it's a very critical thing as well. So for this particular course, which is NOC 23D16, Understanding Incubation Entrepreneurship. The course instructor is Professor Vicky Chakravarti sir from IT Bombay. 12-week duration. The exam date is on 28th of October, which is a Saturday. Okay. So Saturday you'll be going to a center and you'll be attempting it. Now the type of exam, if you see, is online and computer based. Okay. So for this particular course we have the computer based examination. Okay. And we do not have the paper and pen examination, so it is not for our course. It might be there for certain number of courses, but for our particular course, for this particular course of understanding incubation and entrepreneurship, we are having a computer based examination. Okay. So the questions will be on the computer and the answers will have to be entered on the computer. The type of questions may include MCQ, like we mentioned about, the option based, either radio buttons or, multiple choice, okay, or fill in the blanks. So, and essay type, maybe short, length of answers. So, there are the different typology of questions. So if I just highlight it, let me just highlight it. Multiple choice, fill in the blanks, essay type answers, etc. Okay. So you need to be mentally prepared that even though it is a computer-based examination, but you might have a different sets of question framing typology. So just like it's mentioned, fill in the blank. So there will be a statement and you'll have to fill in that blank using the appropriate and selecting the appropriate option. And so for this course we do not have a paper and pen examination, but still, I mean, it's always good that you carry certain basic stationery. Okay. Now while you are going for exam, okay, so it's very important that exam is getting nearer and nearer. You will have to be at the allotted exam center. You will have to be physically there. Okay. So you'll have to go to the exam center, and while going there, you will have to carry your hall ticket. Okay. So a hall ticket will be shared with you. You will get a notification when you get it, and you will have to go there with a government photo ID. Okay. So these two things are very, very important. You have to carry it. If you don't carry it, you might not be allowed to enter the exam center. Now, what all is accepted in photo ID? You can see, driving license, passport, PAN card, voter ID, Aadhaar ID, with your name, date of birth, photograph, and signature. So, any of these documents which has basically, योर आपकी जन्म तिथि, आपका फोटोग्राफ, आपका सिग्नेचर, हस्ताक्षर, आपका नाम, कोई भी ऐसा आईडी कार्ड है जो गवर्नमेंट इशूड है, आई थिंक इट वुड वर्क वेल एज अ फोटो आईडी. Also, if you're going for an examination, it is always best that you have some food and water, because you might be traveling a lot of distance, and reaching there might take time. And always take a buffer. Need to be a buffer to reach the examination. Buffer in the sense that keep margins. ठीक है. इसका क्या मतलब है? इसका मतलब है कि आप एक सफिशिएंट टाइम गैप लेके चलेंगे. आप ये नहीं है कि आपका एग्जाम अगर 2 बजे से, तो आप 2 बजे पहुंचने का सोचें. एटलीस्ट रीच हाफ एन आवर बिफोर, एटलीस्ट, है ना. रीच 30 minutes before. This is, I am telling from my perspective. You reach 30 minutes before, you figure out, where your particular room is, where you will be, sitting, and, appearing for the examination. So all those things require some, time and effort. So if you reach early, I mean, you will be, at ease, and you'll be able to, attempt your, examination in a much or, comfortable and convenient way. It is always best to carry some basic stationery items, although our format is more of a computer-based examination. But it is always good that you carry some basic stationery, pen, pencil, eraser, just in case they provide a paper, scribble down, right? So have it with you. Okay. And the third one, which is very important, is that take sufficient sleep and rest. So usually what happens is that we run through the entire course and we see it, the entire night, and it becomes very challenging, to even to get up the next day and be, active. And that's where it is very important that we take decent amount of sleep and rest, so that, at the day of examination, we are on top of ourselves, and we are very active, and we are able to appear for the examination. Okay. Now comes your hall ticket part. If you see, I mean, this has been also mentioned in the announcement section of the NPTEL platform. If you check that out, there has been an announcement which says that hall ticket is yet to be issued. So it has not been issued. It will be released, and the moment it gets released, you'll be notified. Okay. You'll be notified through email and SMS, and आपको एक text message भी आएगा, और in your ठीक है. तो आपको एक ईमेल और एक टेक्स्ट में आएगा at your registered email ID and mobile number about your informing about your hall ticket. ठीक है. तो हॉल टिकट आपको बहुत संभाल के रखना है. If you want, you can take a printout. I think it's always good that you have something in the hard copy, just in case the phone doesn't work or things like that. So better to take a printout. and keep a copy in your mobile app. ठीक है, तो ये पार्ट आई थिंक इट्स क्वाइट क्रिटिकल। जैसे कि मैंने बताया, हॉल टिकट और फोटो आईडी प्रूफ आपको लेके जाना होगा। तो इसका आप प्रिंट आउट रख सकते हैं और इसका ओरिजिनल कॉपी भी रख सकते हैं। ओके, now coming on to our part of discussion forum, I think the initial set of questions we have already discussed, we have already, addressed them in quite detail. So I'll be, focusing on uh, the last set of questions which were recently added. Now, let me start with question number 8, which was about wrong key for question 1 in week 9. So one of the learners identified that, for this week, the answers which were given were incorrect. So we raised it with the NPTEL team, and I'm happy to share that the evaluation which was in progress has been completed. And you must have been seeing your progress or evaluation. तो मेरा ख्याल है, अगर आप अभी देखेंगे एंड इफ यू आर वन ऑफ दोज जहाँ पे द मार्किंग हैड एन इम्पैक्ट, सो द मार्किंग हैज बीन रीवैल्यूएटेड, और अभी अगर आप देखेंगे आपको ये रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहा होगा। ओके, तो अगर अगर आप अभी जाके देखोगे, आपके जो वीक 9 का जो क्वेश्चन 1 है, उसका जो आंसर है वो अब अपडेट हो गया है, एंड इवन द मार्किंग वुड बी changed for you. Okay, so you can just have a look at it. The progress part has been done. Okay. अब आते हैं, there were two more questions which were posted on discussion forum. Let's go through the first question, which says that in assignment 11, question 4, three answers are correct, but I have marked only one wrong answer and the other two are correct. So like I said, when I was talking about, how the marking is being done. So it is one of those use cases where, if you have opted for one wrong answer, marks given will be zero. Okay. So let me just highlight the point, and I believe if at least one incorrect answer has been chosen, then no marks are awarded. Okay. So it follows this particular rule of evaluation कि अगर एक भी गलत जवाब आप choose करते हैं, one incorrect answer you have chosen, you will not get any partial marking. You will get a direct zero. Okay. So that is where, it is very important that you know, make a conscious decision of choosing only the correct answers so that you get a certain proportional and partial markings. Okay. Okay. So for that, only correct answers need to be chosen. Okay. Now, coming on to our this particular point number 10. Yeah, it was placed by one of the learners who said that, the notes are not getting updated and even the transcripts are not being updated, and it would be better if, we can have one concluding session. Okay. So regarding, let me go one by one. I mean, one of the suggestions regarding notes is, yes, being noted. And regarding transcripts, I mean, I've raised this issue with the NPTEL thing, but the input which I've received is that the transcripts are being evaluated and it will be soon be uploaded. ठीक है, तो जो भी ट्रांसक्रिप्ट्स हैं, जो लेक्चर 5 के बाद वाले जो हमारे जो लेक्चर सीरीज है, आई थिंक ट्रांसक्रिप्ट्स आर अपलोडेड टिल लेक्चर 5, एंड उसके बियॉन्ड अभी नहीं हुआ है, तो वो अभी इवैल्यूएशन चल रहा है उनका और वो सून अपलोड होंगे। आई प्रिज्यूम दैट यू कीप अ चेक ऑन अनाउंसमेंट सेक्शंस। सो इवन थ्रू मेल, आई थिंक ईमेल के थ्रू भी आपको पता चलेगा उसके बारे में, the moment it gets uploaded, so that it can benefit you. All right. Regarding concluding session, I think I do agree to a point that there should be one session of do's and don'ts. But the challenge here is that every expert has shared their own personal opinion. Now we cannot generalize it, okay, and that is where you will see the questions. The questions are being asked in a particular context. That professor this talked about this. What are the parameters of success for them? So every professor has their own, based on their own understanding and experience, and they have identified those things. So the challenge could be in a concluding session is that we cannot generalize these statements made by these experts, because these are being done in a certain context based on their own expertise area. So that is why probably we might not have a content or a session like that, but obviously what we can have is that something which combines the basic essentials for a startup. So maybe something like essentials for startups, और उसमें हम लोग एक do's and don'ts का एक सेक्शन हम लोग प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं जहाँ पे we can figure this thing out quite easily. So I think that can be done, but then generic statement we cannot give because a lot of things has been said in a particular context by expert based on their own experience. So that is why we are not having something like that. Okay, great. Now we are coming on to our question set once again. Let me just check if we have any more learners here right now. Okay, so we just have one learner as of now. I mean, and you are welcome if you want to, pitch in and you would want to share your personal opinion about a particular question. Most welcome in that part. Okay, so the question says, what is batter blast as mentioned by Professor V.K. Chakravarti in Mustafa P. success story module 2? Okay. So, if you remember, I mean, we talked about the journey of Mr. Mustafa, who was from, if you remember the ID story of the ID products, which includes batters and things like that. So he talked about a particular term called batter blast. The the options given are: it is a philosophy on which Mustafa's business model is based. It's a metaphor used to describe the booming business of idli batter in the southern India. It's an explosion-like phenomenon which can occur due to the expansion of idli batter when it over ferments. When it over ferments in a seed barrel. And it is a term which got famous to describe a surprise party event organized by Mustafa's cousin to celebrate their success. So you've got four options, and you have to identify which one is the correct one. So let me just give you a hint. So when Mustafa shared his own story of startup, in the very initial few stages, they suffered certain setbacks, and one of the issues was the explosion which was happening because of the over fermentation of the batter. Okay. Okay. And that is the thing which has been coined by the term called batter blast. Okay. So if you see the correct answer is option C, which says explosion like phenomena which can occur due to the expansion of the idli batter when it over ferments in a sealed bag. Okay. तो क्या होता है कि जब बैग आपका सील्ड होता है तो जो बैटर होता है वो फर्मेंटेशन की वजह से बढ़ता है, एक्सपैंड होता है और एक ब्लास्ट जैसा होता है क्योंकि इट्स अ सील्ड बैग ना. सो इट्स अ सील्ड बैग. इट्स अ सील्ड बैग, और सील्ड जब बैग रहता है और जब वो एक्सपैंड हो रहा है So there is it becomes something like this, and then it's a explosion. You know, blast occurs. All right, and that has been the cause, and that is the term which is given. So the correct answer is option C. It is an explosion-like phenomena which can occur due to the expansion of the idli batter when it over ferments in a sealed bag. है ना, जब एक sealed bag में आपका बैटर रहता है और वो explode होता है. Great. So we now move on to our next question. According to Mr. Anurag, complete the following sentence. Money is not the only cause why a startup style. It is the dash fit. So, like we said, the different typology of questions, it is one of the fill in the blanks typology. Okay. So it is one of the typologies, and you might get questions like that. So, अनुराग जी का एक सेशन था जहाँ पे उन्होंने बोला था कि मनी इज नॉट द कॉज बाय स्टार्टअप ट्राई. सो वी हैव सीन दैट देयर वर वेरियस रीजंस व्हाई स्टार्टअप्स die or failure of startup. So some of them are like not the right team, the money factor, and the competitors playing a critical role there. So however, Mr. Anurag shared a very important aspect here, and the options given are goal and objective, user and customer, product and market, needs and want. So the correct answer is one of these. So you need to think about it and you need to tell, I mean, what could be the right answer. So अनुराग जी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में what is the fit which is being mentioned about. So if you have gone through the content and as an overview, you must have realized that it has been primarily about the market and the product. Okay. So user and consumer are basically the same domains we are talking about. Although these are different. Say for example, if we try to understand the two terms, in case of say toys for babies. Okay. Now, if you see this particular segment of product, uh, the baby is basically the user. However, the parents are the customer. Why? Because they are making the purchase decision. Okay. But actually, it is being used by uh, the user is basically a baby. Okay. So although these are a similar typology, but these are two different things. Just to give a clarity of how the two terms are different. Need and want, fit and objective. Okay, so let me share the correct answer. The correct answer is product market fit, and I believe by now you must have understood how important it is to have the product which is very much needed in the market, and the best way of approaching this is doing the customer discovery. Okay, so it's very, very critical, and I believe all the experts in all the sessions have actually resonated in this particular aspect and said that it is the customer which is very, very critical in this whole journey, and that will help you in identifying and making great product and market fit. Okay, so the correct answer is product market fit. Let's come to our question three. The question is, what was the insight while working on solar oven as told by Professor V.K. Chakrabarti sir in lecture 3 methodology for innovation? So, if you remember, it was a academic project by one of the student, and I believe the student name was Mr. Avinash. And after the academic project, it's now being undertaken as a startup. So the work is still going on, and probably we'll hear about the end outcome very soon. But the what was the insight while working on that, solar oven? The options are people wanted cheap products, people were very interested in solar cooking, people wanted convenience of cooking from indoors, and people wanted solar-based rice cooker. So out of the four options, basically we need to select one, and we are basically talking about the insight. Okay. So if you could recall, the things, you would realize that it was the convenience of cooking from indoors. Okay. Now, if you essentially see what is the problem in a solar oven, we need to have sun rays, reaching to down our whatever way we are cooking in, and for that, many times we need to, be outside. Now, just imagine you're cooking under a scorching sun. It is such a difficult task. Okay, so people were quite interested towards solar based cooking, but this hassle of being outside and cooking was a very difficult task, and that was one of the reasons people did not want it. So if they could get a convenience of cooking from windows, probably it was the greatest insight which they could ever achieve, when they reached out to the customers. So the answer is people wanted convenience of cooking from indoors, घर के अंदर से वो cook करना चाहते थे, and that's where if you see the product was envisaged initially for the people living in the apartments. Let's come to our fourth question. The boutique at ID Bombay stands for. Now it's basically an abbreviation based question. You might get something like this as well. So there are many abbreviations like we saw boutique, we have GDC, and then we had CFHE. Okay, ITIC. Okay, so just try to note it down and try to elaborate and keep it handy so that if a question comes about abbreviation and the full form, you're able to address it. So in this particular question, the question is boutique. Boutique का full form क्या है? Okay. So the correct answer is biomedical engineering and technology. So if you see TIC, Technology Innovation Center, it's there, and E is for engineering, B for biomedical. Okay, so the correct answer is B. Biomedical Engineering and Technology Innovation Center. That's the boutique at IIT Bombay. Okay, so just telling that it's always good that you keep these abbreviations in hand, keep the full forms ready so that a question like this comes and you're able to address it. Okay. Coming on to our fifth question, based on the solar one case study, what are the some of the pricing tactics Avinash can use to make money out of eco-friendly product? Okay, options are direct product sale, bulk order from the government subsidies for an eco-friendly product, and flash sales and seasonal offers. So you have to select the right options since it's a multi-select question. So which means there are multiple correct options. Right. So since we are raising quite closer to six, I'll be just very quick in terms of these questions. The correct answers were direct product sale. Obviously, you can make a sale and a purchase in a direct interaction. We can get bulk order from the government because the government is also having a lot of initiatives around eco-friendly products, and then government subsidies for eco-friendly products. Even if you see, there is a lot of subsidy which is being given to EVs, electric vehicles. So there could be a lot of subsidies which are given to the eco-friendly products. Okay, so these are the three pricing tactics which Avinash could use to make money by the sale of products, obviously. Coming to question number six, according to Professor Ravi, an ideal team structure is composed of. Now, if you see the flavor of all these questions, these are basically from each week's content. Okay, it's not from a specific week. The idea of today's session was to give you a flavor of the entire course, so that you are able to understand what all we have covered, and that has been the idea of framing these questions. So, according to Professor Ravi, the ideal team structure is composed of the options are interdisciplinary researchers, experienced mentors, end users, and visiting experts. Now, if you've gone through the content, I think it would be very clear that yes, you need researchers, people from interdisciplinary. to make your solutions which are more authentic, more reasonable. You get insights from 11 domains out there. Experienced mentors play a very important role. Many of the incubators were offering the connect with the mentors. End users. Now, a team, whether you would want a team member be that of an end user is something which is questionable. And the last option is visiting experts. Okay. So the correct answer is A, B, and D. All right. Just quick heads up. Right. Let me just continue. Okay. Coming to our question, see, according to Mr. Thayan, which of the following forms the philosophy of F1 Studio? So remember, you have to recall those things. F1 Studio की philosophy क्या थी? Simplicity, empathy, agility, or customer feedback. Now again, customer feedback appears to be what based? Yes. So the correct answers are simplicity, empathy, and agility. Okay. So here are the three correct responses. Coming to the eighth question. The double whammy business model can be applied in which of the following situations as discussed by Professor Costo? Okay, so this is pertaining to our module 7. The options are when the market is saturated with multiple options, when there is a gap between demand and supply. Okay, when most of the startups have backed out from the market, and when there is a large demand in the market for a specific skill set. Okay, so we are talking about double whammy business model. I think the name is quite quirky and you will be able to remember it. But the best way is to remember it with the meaning of it. Okay, so the correct answer is that when there is a large demand in the market for a specific skill set. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Okay. Coming to question 9, as explained in module 8 by Rakesh Rajiv, Mr. Rakesh Rajiv, something that can be can't be easily copied or bought is known as fair advantage, unfair disadvantage, and I think if you remember, the canvas which he showed, and in there were different sections, and one of the sections talked about this particular thing of which can't be easily copied or bought. Okay, so the correct answer is unfair advantage. So you'll have to recollect, a couple of things. You have to go through the content. If you have made notes of all these sessions, I think it will be really helpful to go through those notes once again so that you are able to recall a lot of things which you have learned through. Coming to question number 10, as mentioned in module 9 by Professor Surya, the process of giving an idea to an industry through IP. IP stands for intellectual property or technology transfer is known as entrepreneurship, commercialization, enterprise, and incubation. So I believe now everybody understand what entrepreneurship is. Okay, everybody understand what incubation is and what is an enterprise, more like an entity. Okay, so I think it's quite clear and quite direct that the correct answer is commercialization, because you are giving your idea to an industry. If you are doing it yourself, you are establishing a startup and working around it, it will be a different thing. All right. So with that, we end our session today, the final and the concluding session, which was basically about giving some heads up towards the final exam. And let me just stop sharing my screen. Okay. So now since we have concluded our 12-week journey and we are now heading towards our final exam the next week, I think just go through the course once, and if you haven't made any physical notes, go through it. If you think that you would want to go through the annotated PDFs of these lectures, including this session, it will be uploaded on the Google Drive. So you will have the option of going through the YouTube videos and going through the PDFs as well to understand more about the content. And like I mentioned, there are some certain things which you need to be aware of and follow, just to have a good day at examinations, including things which are pertaining to your hall ticket and photo ID, and then coming on to some basic stationaries, and then finally keeping some water and food stuff. If you're traveling, plan your travel quite early, because many times students have to travel quite a long distance. So for those scenarios, you just take a buffer time, so that you reach at your venue at least half an hour, 1 hour before, so that you can understand the seating layout, and your how you are going to be sitting and keeping your stuff somewhere. So everything requires some kind of interaction with the person who is at the center, and doing some kind of invigilation, or who is at the authority. Okay, so but for that you need to reach early. The moment you reach early, everything gets sorted out in a timely manner, which is very very critical for your being at a comfort and being at ease of doing an examination. So with that, I would like to end today's session. I'll just quickly go through and screen share about your contents, so that just in case you want to see it, you can quickly have a look. Okay. Okay. I believe my screen is visible. This is your complete platform, and every announcement has been made here. So up till now, we have seen the solutions of assignment 12. One of the assignments is awaited, and which is the evaluation of assignment number 12. So that will soon be done, and you don't have to worry about it. And once that is also done, you will be getting your final evaluation and marks. All right. See, this was the announcement thing which I was talking about. The entire list is visible. You can click here and you can actually see the same thing which I showed you in our PPT. This is about what kind of examination pattern we have. This is something which I've already mentioned, but just to highlight you, it will be, for our case, it will be a computer based examination, and you can validate it with the list here. So if you click here, it will be opening up an Excel sheet, and you have to search for the examination. So let me just quickly do it for you. So now if you see at 196, we have understanding incubation entrepreneurship. It's on 28th of October, which is a Saturday, and it's a online computer based examination. Okay, so you can validate this, and you would also see that there are certain examination which are paper and pen based. Okay, so thankfully in our case it is a computer based thing, and we have already seen the typology of questions which might come in. And as I mentioned, you have to carry your hall ticket and photo ID proof. The photo ID proof needs to have some basic things like name, date of birth, photograph, signature, and they have listed down what all you can carry. So it includes driver license, passport, PAN card, voter ID, and Aadhaar. Okay. Physical calculators are not allowed inside the exam hall, so obviously, I mean, you can avoid it. But these are primarily for things which require calculation. In our particular course, there has not been any kind of questions which require calculation and using the calculators. So that you can very well let go with. So we have Archit here. Hi Archit. So may I know, I mean, how are you ready with your examination, and how far you have reached with your assignments? Okay, maybe Archit is I think we not continue in our meeting. So I'll just continue with what I was sharing. So this is the announcement section where you will find the details about hall ticket as well. Okay, so the moment it is mailed, you will get a notification for that, and this is where the revaluation part has been mentioned. So like I mentioned, assignment one question one, there was an issue, and this has been updated. Okay, regarding transcripts, I had raised this concern, and probably we'll see the remaining set of transcripts. Up till now, we have till lecture 5. Okay, so the remaining transcripts will also be uploaded very soon. You just have to wait and watch, and I believe that even the announcement for that should ideally come. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. And like I mentioned, this lecture notes section. I mean, yeah. So if you see, the entire lecture notes are there in a PDF form. So all the lecture notes are available. And I think one of the learners was also asking the same question about the lecture notes not being there. Okay. So so just for them, I think it can be accessed quite easily. Once again, I'll show. I mean, here if you click on lecture notes, it will lead to another page, which will have a link. So if you click on the link, it will open up a Google Drive, and all the lectures in the form of notes will be here. So just to open up one, this is how it will be made visible. So I mean, I'm just showing it so that you are made aware about the PDFs, the different screenshots which the expert had shared with you, so that you get a understanding of we talked about the unfair advantage seats there. All right. So a lot of things are there, and lecture notes could be a good area to look upon while you are going for your examination. So it's very quickly you can run through it, and I'll also show you the problem solving sessions. Okay. So you'll have to click here, and now you'll be able to see the entire list of week wise YouTube lectures. All right. So everything is made available up till week 12. We have all the YouTube videos, the entire this thing, the annotated PDFs are also present week wise. We'll also upload the extra session wala content over it, so that you are complete with respect to preparing for your examination. All right. So I think now it's quite clear. The interface, I've shown you where the lecture notes are, where the transcripts are, how to access the problem solving sessions. So, everything we have covered up till now. The only thing which is left to say is that prepare for your examination in a great way, so that you are able to address it very well, and you perform great. You come out with flying colors, and please inform me how your exams went by, and whether these sessions were helpful to you, because there is also a section about feedback for the live sessions. So all these problem sessions have been conducted and uploaded on the platforms through PDFs as well as your YouTube sessions. It will be really helpful if you could share the feedback in the form of how you got benefited.